welcome to the very first episode of our talk show, Let's Grow Ensemble. Our purpose is to have candid conversations that will empower us and help us grow together. So my name is Woodland, and right now I'm here with 5 lovely ladies who have had a huge impact in my life in the past 3 months. So without further ado, hi Garnet.
Hi Woodland, happy to be here.
Hi Jafan, how are you doing?
I am doing well, and I'm so excited.
Cassie.
Hi, I can't wait. This is really exciting.
Alicia.
Salut.
Hello. And Sarah.
Hi, you guys.
All right, so our first topic is something we all can relate to, as we all been through it and we're all still going through it. Yes, we're talking COVID. So our topic is how it has impacted us in the past few months and what we've learned from it. So, Jeffan, do you want to start?
Yeah. Thank you again for joining us. So 2020 for me has been a very challenging year, but yet rewarding so far. I have learned to trust myself and trust the process. The reason why I say that, it's because the year started great. I was able to travel, but then, as you all know, COVID happened. During all that, I had already accepted a new position somewhere, left my job, but guess what happened? I got notification that me transferring to that position there would be a delay. I wouldn't be able to transfer the date that was previously planned. So I went from someone who held 2 jobs to no jobs. It was very scary. I'm not going to lie, but I have to say that through it all, I really got to know myself, because I knew that I had to stay strong. I had to do what I needed to do. It wasn't fortunately enough for me, it wasn't for a very long time. I just had 1 week in between. Something else we worked it out, but it was very scary. One thing that I can say helped me during that week that I was home and trying to figure out if I was actually going to be able to work again, I started journaling, and that helped me tremendously. It helped me to focus on myself, to focus on things that I needed to improve on. I learned so much about my personality, aspects of my personality that I didn't even know exist. And also, I have to say, not only I was able to get to know myself more, but it actually helped me with reaching out to other people. And these lovely ladies, that's how we got together. That's a story for another day. But I just have to say, for me, journaling was the key. Garnet, what would you say about 2020?
I mean, for me, 2020, a lot of people were unfortunately stuck in not able to work. I was lucky enough to have my job and be able to work from home. So, in working from home, you don't have your travel time, so you have a lot more time to yourself. You get to analyze things a lot, which is what I did. So for me, I realized financially, I wasn't as stable as I would want to be. I also realized that I wasn't in contact with friends and family like I should be. Like, you say it's important to have people in your life. And also, I was working aimlessly without knowing, what my future was going to be, what goals that I had set up for myself. So what I decided to do is sit down, write a better budget for myself, so I could understand my finances better, so I could help in growing that. I also decided to reach out to people and form this lovely group that we have going on here and meet you wonderful ladies. Um, and I also decided to ask myself what I wanted out of my career and set up a goal of to where I want to be. And you know how people talk about having a 5-year plan, and you're like, yeah, but now I actually took the time to write that down and come up with a 5-year plan. So that's what I did with my time being like at home during COVID, and that's how it helped me grow. What about you, Sarah?
Like you guys said, I pretty much did the same thing. I was able to work from home, but I think what helped me the most is the fact that I had time now to kind of analyze, my life in a deeper way, I would say. And I was able to form like, deeper connection with friends and family. I was also able to cut certain people out of my life because, yeah, I think like, I don't know, I think I was more in tune with myself in the midst of everything that was happening. So it gave me time to reflect a little bit on me, what I want, and who was meaningful in my life. So yeah, I think it's been a blessing in a way, for me. So I'm grateful.
Cassandra, do you want to share with
Yes,
us what you
here.
learned about yourself
2020, right?
and how it also impacted you?
Yes. I mean, for everyone, whenever it's like New Year, everyone is like, "Oh, New Year, new me." For me, it's not that, but I tried to have goals for myself, like during the year. So 2020, I had so many things, so many plans I had with friends and family, and then COVID happened. So I had to be working from home like many of you guys, but my reality was a little different. You guys all live in other countries. I live in Haiti. So the COVID situation, it was not the same way that it was everywhere else. Like people were being quarantined and everywhere in the world except for Haiti. So yes, I was working from home, but I felt like people were not being as careful as they should be. So I self-quarantined basically. But yeah, it changed my life in a way that I realized who were important because I had so much time. And when you have so much time, you try to fill it up with stuff to do. Either it's watching something, and I have an online class that I'm following, but I still had a lot of time on my hands. So it was spending time with family, catching up with friends. And like you guys said, there are people that I've reconnected with, like you guys. But there are also people that I realize, okay, this person was never someone that I want to be around all the time. It were just people that you were passing the time with. I think this COVID situation came in our lives. It's not a blessing because I know we lost a lot of lives were lost. But in a way, it kind of changed the way we see things. I see things a lot differently now. There are things that I'm so grateful for now that I wouldn't even think of. Like I didn't lose anyone. No one in my family died. No one that I know, which is close to me, died. So I think I feel blessed because of that. But yeah, I think this is what happened. What about you, Talisha? How has COVID in 2020 changed your life, and what that has impacted your life? How?
Yeah, I agree with what a lot of people have said. Like it's made me think about like what's important. It's made me like reevaluate my relationships with people. It's definitely like changed my value system. Like I remember before COVID, I was very active. I was always running off to something. I was always like I was running off to work, running off to school. I was planning on pursuing a different degree. Like I was always doing something. And then COVID happened and we had to like shelter in place. And that was a very new experience for me because I'm used to being out and about. And initially what I did was, you know, I would shelter in place, but I always had something going on. Like I had, I don't know, some kind of like Zoom activity with some group here. I was journaling with you guys. I always had something going on. But then I realized that maybe this is a period where you can learn to be still and learn to self-reflect and be more introspective. And so that's the journey that I went down. I went down a more introspective, self-reflective journey. And I have to say it's been really rewarding because there were a lot of things that I was unaware about myself that I learned through this journey. So it's been very empowering, and it's also taught me how to look at other people's actions and kind of like understand people on a deeper level.
What about you, Woodland?
Yeah, I'm hearing you guys, and my journey sounds very, very familiar. But what I liked about what I think we're all part of a very privileged group that had it kind of easier than other groups. So that's very nice. I think that in a world where, in a time where we have nothing to do but look at the news and we hear a lot of negative, it's nice to see that we're in a group where we've actually grown and learned from this experience. And my experience, again, has been very similar. Because when it all started for me, I thought it would be exciting because I'm like, I don't have to wake up in the morning and go to work anymore. I can just stay home, and that was a nice break. But then like 2 or 3 weeks afterwards, I think you all remember this, I got sick. And
yes, you had the sore throat.
I had a sore throat. I had a fever. And it was.
We all thought you had COVID, by the way.
Yeah,
exactly. That's it. I had the symptoms, right? And then I was quarantined in my room, and I was quarantined in my room, and I couldn't talk to anyone because my throat was infected, and it was hurting a lot. So I could barely swallow my own saliva. So I couldn't eat, talk to anybody, and I was stuck in my room because everybody was avoiding me. So needless to say that I was in a situation where I was forced to introspect, to talk to myself, you know, to ask myself questions, to ask myself the hard questions, right? And it sounds, I think it kind of sounds cliche now after hearing all of you guys. But I started writing a lot more, and I started asking myself a lot of questions, and I realized how unhappy I was. It was already a year where I was starting a new position at work. I was, I had gone back to school, so it was already a lot of changes. And then I was stuck now questioning every decisions that I had made. And then I was forced questioning where my life was going. So where's my career going? What do I really want to do? Where's my love life going? You know what I mean? Where are my finances going? So everything was re-questioned. And during that time, what really helped me is that I learned, I started to meditate a lot more. And meditating is spending time with yourself and talking to yourself. So I got a lot of answers from there, and my life has changed, you all know, drastically from there. So I live in Canada. So I moved from a province to another, something that I thought I would never do, right? We started this talk show, which is amazing. I started my blog, which is something that I wanted to do for over 10 years now, and I never had the courage to do it, and I finally did it. Still a work in progress, but I did it. Right. So this year has been huge for me. A lot is still going on, and I'm kind of still looking forward to what the end of it has to offer. So yeah, that's that.
I think I think there's been some major changes for you, Woodland, from moving and relocating and actually even thinking that you are sick yourself. Mm-hmm. So that is one thing that we were also lucky, despite the fact that we got to we got to analyze our lives and question ourselves, but none of us fear at any point that we were sick. And I wonder, how was that to deal with? Was there any fear associated with that? Did you feel at any point?
Well, for me, it was more of, I thought it was very scary because I was I was really in a lot of pain, and I couldn't eat for 5 days or more. But it was more that I live with my parents, right? And my parents are elderly, and their health is not the same as it used to be.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So for me, it was, oh my God, what did I do wrong because of me? You know, the situation could escalate. So it was more of a guilt, and I was scared for them,
Right.
mostly.
I
Talisha, I
felt
know
the same way. I felt the same
Yeah?
way because I live with my mom, and even though I said that for a week I did not work, but when even before I left my previous job, I had to work with patients that are COVID positive, so that was nerve wracking.
Mhm.
But I did feel, even though obviously it's a new virus, you don't really know what if you get it, you get sick. And to me, it wasn't the fact that I thought that I would die. I'm pretty healthy, but I was terrified that if I brought it home, my mom is 60 years old. I don't know what could have happened to her. So I completely understand how you felt. And to the point where I said, do I go and stay somewhere else? I mean,
Mhm.
and that's another thing that, not to get off topic, but I think we should let our audience know that we're obviously, this is a Zoom call, but we're each in different location, not only in different let's say
Countries.
apartments, but literally we each live in a different state.
State,
I live
right.
in Boston.
Different country too,
Yes,
Javon.
in country.
Different
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
I live in Boston. Woodland is in Canada. You relocated to Moncton?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Goddard is in Florida, and
COVID
Sarah
city.
is in New York. Cassandra is usually in Haiti, but she's currently on vacation and she's traveling a lot. She's in Florida at the moment, going to Atlanta very soon. And I think actually, Talisha is in Boston as well, but we don't really live very close to each other. So I just thought that I should point it out. But yes, to go back, it was very terrifying to know that, to face someone who has the virus, and
Yeah.
you don't know if you're going to get it. And even though I felt okay for myself because this is my job, I signed up for it, but coming home, I was really scared that I would be responsible for my mom getting sick. So
I think in the U.S., like, we live in a very like we're very individualistic, where, like, a lot of Americans, like, we think about ourselves, and we're, how something impacts me, and what am I going to do, what is my responsibility for myself in this situation. And this has really forced us to think about how our actions, surprisingly,
exactly.
imagine that.
Others, right?
It's what we needed.
Exactly. Same with this whole debate about wearing a mask, and people that are anti-mask, and it pertains to that. I want to protect myself, but when I wear the mask, I'm actually protecting someone else. And
Exactly.
when I see someone else wearing a mask, I feel I want to say to them, thank you. But unfortunately, not everyone sees it that way. But that's one thing that we can thank COVID for. We actually started thinking more about other people and realizing that our actions can actually have detrimental effect on other people.
Yeah.
Actually, this happened too in Haiti. It was weird to see how people were wearing their mask everywhere. I mean, most people. It also started a whole new industry of people making cloth masks and selling them, like on the street, and there were a lot more people wearing them. So you realize that although a lot of people in Haiti were not really, oh, COVID doesn't exist, they don't believe in it, it's just like a way for government to control people. But you saw a lot of people wearing them, and businesses were taking that really seriously. For you to get into like a supermarket or to go places, you would need to wear a mask, and they were very, very serious about that. So it was quite a change to see how we're caring about one another. You don't want to get sick, but you don't want to get other people sick as well. And I remember I told you guys that, like, I became like the parent of my house. Like, my mom and dad were going out. I'm like, make sure where's your mask? Are you wearing your mask? Did you get your mask? I became like I was the mask police at my house. Oh yeah. I was like, okay, wear your mask. And and to me, it kind of showed me how much like my parents mean to me. Cause I was like, you guys are not getting sick. Like I was the person that mostly went out of my house. So as soon as I would get back home, I would take a shower, take my clothes off, put them in like a sachet, something, just to make sure that, okay, I am not making, like, I'm not going to be responsible for getting my mom or my dad sick or anyone else in my family. So to me, it's really revealing. I think COVID, and like I said, COVID happened for a reason, and maybe we don't know what the reason is yet, but it is going to be life-changing. From now on, things are going to be different.
Well,
it
has
definitely changed our lives completely.
Exactly.
Everything has changed.
And I don't want to sound cynical in saying this, but I think the world kind of needed this.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about the sickness, and I'm not talking about the people suffering and dying, but the world needed to quiet down. You know what I mean? Like, we needed to spend time with ourselves. You know what I mean? So
have you guys seen all the change in the ocean and the atmosphere and everything else?
That's wonderful.
Because we stopped flying around and being everywhere at the same time. And I remember people would send me links to reading those things. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And I remember once I went to the beach, you could see that the water was different. The water, the way it looked. And I heard there were like a lot more fish in the water and stuff like that. So I think COVID happened for a reason. And yeah, it is going to change our lives. The way we see things, it's going to change forever.
Change.
Yeah, I think we needed to change, because like the trajectory that we were on, like we were destroying the planet, we were destroying each other.
Yes,
we were so selfish. We didn't think about like the person next door, you know. That's one thing I noticed, was that like I have a different, like, I know I have a different like take on COVID. Like maybe I'm not as scared of it, but I have to respect other people's fear of it as well. You know?
Yes, I agree.
Just because
100%.
it doesn't. I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, just because it doesn't scare me doesn't mean I can't respect the fact that it scares somebody else, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know, Alicia, I know that you got sick at some point too. Were you ever scared that you got it?
At that point I was, I kind of just, it was very early on, and so we thought that we could develop antibodies and it would help us fight the virus, you know, later on or whatever. But then I did a little more research and I found out that it could do a lot more than just give you antibodies. Like, it can give you like nerve damage. You can get like really long lasting like diseases as a result of it. So that was scary. But I think what was like the most challenging part of it was just trying to get to see a healthcare professional. You know, before COVID, I was able to just go to my doctor's office. But now I had to jump through so many hoops and hurdles to see anyone. When I got tested, the doctor didn't even walk into my examination room. Somebody else in a moon suit came in, they stuck the thing up my nose, and they walked me out. That was my experience. It was crazy.
And
In a moon suit. That's funny.
In a moon suit. Yeah.
that's funny. Like you had someone to do yours. I had to do mine by myself. Like I had to go
Wow.
to the drive-through, and actually stick that thing up my nose all the way up.
Ah.
And like it is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So
That's what I've
uncomfortable.
heard. Everyone mentioned how uncomfortable the whole process of
It
having that.
is.
It's just
Okay.
long
Yeah, it
Q-tip.
is.
Well, I'm happy you
I
never had
have
to
a
get tested,
question.
Gerda.
How many of you guys?
I know.
How many of you guys got tested?
So I
You
did.
Twice. Thank you.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and the same
Oh,
week.
3 out of 3. See, half of us got tested.
I did.
There are different tests too. There are different tests. So you can get one that goes like all the way up your nose to the back of your throat. You can get one that just goes up your nose, and you can get a saliva test. And maybe some
Yeah.
others.
I think
Oh,
now they
saliva
come in
test?
with like, yeah, I think now they like, come in with more testers and stuff like that as like, things are moving along.
Mhm.
So yeah. But I think overall, like, we're more, I don't know, in a way together
Mm.
as a
The world is
as a
becoming
group, I
less
feel.
selfish.
Exactly. And I feel like even myself, I'm like more loving towards my family, towards my loved one. I'm not that much of an emotional type of person, but now I find myself saying more, I love you to
Oh,
like,
geez.
to
Can I ask
to like
Sarah?
my loved one.
Sarah, what about it make you like changed you?
To be honest with you, is like seeing other people going through, like, losing a loved one. And I know I didn't experience that, which I'm grateful for, but, the thought of losing, like, my sister, she's a nurse, like the thought of like, losing my mom that works in the field as well, or anybody else, like a friend or something like that, it makes me like, kind of like realize, I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna show you, like, that I love you right now, just in case if anything were to
Yes.
happen, like, for them to realize that I actually care, because I do, even though I like, I don't say it a lot. I'm like, that give them that thug love type of behavior, but I actually, like, I'm very, like, a loving and caring person. It's just I don't express it a lot to people, but I do find myself now saying, like, I love you, and stuff like that. I care about you, and like, just know that, I got you, and, just the little things.
Wow. That's
Another
something
thing
to
that
say. Yes.
I wanted to point out is that with COVID, I don't want to be insensitive, but I think it also taught us to be prepared for the worst, because I think we all had plans, and it's just one, from one day to the next, everything just changed. So I felt like, you know what, it was a good thing that I actually was planning. I didn't just do things like financially, for example, not, every time that I got paid and spent and spent that money. I feel like with COVID, it actually kind of emphasized for me the importance of saving, and even
Yeah.
though you really cannot plan the future, but to at least be ready, because I think not only the people that lost their lives, but a lot of people got affected by COVID in different ways. Unemployment rate is really high. Well, it's getting better now, but my God, so many people lost their jobs, and so many people actually lost, well, rent. I don't want to say their house, but I feel like it's good to be ready for the worst, even though you really can't plan, but just be ready.
Yeah,
To
I
Always
agree.
have a plan B.
Exactly.
In a way.
Always have
Exactly.
a plan B. Always have a little cushion, something somewhere where you can just kind of get yourself through a hard time until you can get back on your feet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Like I think. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say on the line of what Jeff said. It is, if a lot of people lost jobs, and although they were not in a position where they had to be evicted because of what our governments were able to do in terms of keeping people in their home, it showed me one person that I follow online, David Ramsey, in terms of finances, he's mentioned, I believe, to have 9 or 12 months of all of your
yes,
entire
exactly.
bills and
Save.
stuff saved, right?
At least 6 months.
At least 6 months. So what I found out is, you have to know what those numbers are. People go so much by paycheck, and the light is due, or my rent is due, or the car is due, or the auto insurance is due. But do you have that information on a spreadsheet where you can tell exactly the amount that's necessary? Do you, not to live like on a rigid budget where you can't just spend, $10 or 15,
Or
20,
treat
whatever
yourself
amount.
to something nice.
Exactly. Not to be so rigid, but to also know what it is exactly that you're spending, what it is exactly that you need, and how much exactly you need to save, to just be a little more proactive in watching your finances, basically.
Absolutely. I agree. It really, COVID hit a lot of people like really hard. And I feel like those that kind of were more ready are the ones that were able to kind of weather these hard time. So one more lesson for me is to be adaptable, to, just be ready to change at any minute, but most importantly, just be ready. Just really be ready.
Well, I really enjoyed our talk today, guys. And I feel like we have definitely grown a lot through COVID. A lot of us, whether it was emotionally, trying to reconnect to what we thought were important, or whether it was financially, trying to be able to save or work out a better budget, and whether it was being able to see what's important in terms of family and making sure you tell your loved one you love them, because you do, but do you always tell them as often as you need to? This is basically the topics we will be discussing on our show. We will be talking about things that empower us, things that help us grow, and we will be streaming on YouTube and IGTV. Our episodes will go on Thursdays, and we hope we can see you there, and we hope that you find us entertaining enough to come back.
Right.
And do not hesitate to engage us on our Instagram page. It's Let's Grow Together. Let's go awesome.
Let's grow awesome.
Let's go awesome.
And we will have
Send us your
Q&As.
questions, and we will gladly answer them.
Absolutely.
You
We're
can
here
slide
to
in our
grow
DM.
together. That's the goal. Grow together.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
again. See you next time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.